What is going on, YouTube? My name is Lucas, and today, I feel like this happens every time I make what I feel is an epic video on HUMBL, and then they drop an absolute amazing piece of information literally the following day. And in this case, we find out that there is going to be another conference call on May 7th. Super ecstatic, super excited, and the reason is because I think a lot of things need to be clarified. I think a lot of things need to be shored up. And I do think we need some more positive catalyst. I do think we need some more positive news. So if you're interested in HUMBL, because I'm going to dive in, really break this expectations, this conference call potential down. So if you're interested in HUMBL, I suggest you stay tuned right after this. But before we talk about business insights, M&A, and a ton of different other things, I ask that you guys smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, comment down below, and now it's time to get into this video. Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely excited to bring you guys yet again another video on this company. You know, honestly, I'm trying to cover this thing the best I possibly can and provide you the most impactful information from, you know, whether it's the conference call or just in general things happening with this stock, because so many people are excited like myself. You know, I'm trying to stay as accurate as Rebecca is, but that has been a challenge. You know, Rebecca is a monster when it comes to covering this stock. She is the queen of HUMBL. So, you know, mad props, mad respect to Rebecca, and obviously going on Papa HUMBL, that was incredible. So I am trying to do the best I possibly can. But, you know, I was ecstatic to see that they're going to be hosting another conference call. And some of the things that they're going to be talking about, I really broke down and provided some of my own notes, because I think there are some significant pieces that need to be addressed, at which it shows is the topic in this conference call. I think we've done, you know, enough PR to get people hyped up. Now it's time to get serious from a CEO perspective and a business perspective. There are some questions around dilution. There's some questions around, as I refer to them as Class B, or, you know, shares of the B class. You know, I think there's some things that need to be really addressed in that manner. I also think that there are some other things that we could use as, you know, talking about acquisitions. Are there mergers that are going to be lined up? You know, there's just other topics that I think can be addressed because of the current situation we are in. Obviously, there's the crawl phase. He said, Brian Foote stated that we were past that kind of crawl phase and we are into the walking phase. We're not quite to the running phase yet, because the app did just get released in the main, you know, phase 1. I think phase 2 is definitely coming here in the coming weeks, like I posted in my last video. But there are definitely some things that need to be addressed. So I decided to do a video on this and really kind of provide you my thoughts, my notes, and some of the things I hope that is addressed in this. So let's dive into this. The first thing up is going to be business insights. And the first thing that they talk about is patent filings. I do think that this is a significant piece. The reason is because it would be nice to know if they filed patents, have any of them got approved, and really what is the process for what they're trying to get patent approved. I think that would be significant as well, just to understand what they're trying to accomplish with their patents. So I do think that is a big piece. Now, like I stated, I do believe, and I'm going to provide you my thoughts in my notes, because I think I wrote this, you know, the best I possibly could off my top of my head. I said I believe this one is the biggest, if not the biggest pieces that needs to be hit on. Like I covered in my video from last night, we can see dilution in share structure is a concern for long-term investors, and with warrants and Class B shares. You know, obviously, Brian Foote did address this in a tweet, which I did put in my video from yesterday. But I do think that this needs to be addressed from him, you know, person to person. I think this should be something that he hits on really kind of right out the gate of this video or this conference call. And the reason is because I think this honestly is one of the biggest concerns that people have as investors. I do think that there's a chance that we could see some dilution, and there has been rumors that a reverse split could happen again in the future before the NASDAQ happens. So I think there are some things that he has heard, and obviously we've seen, that needs to be addressed from a structure standpoint. And I think that they really need to assure the investors what is going on. And so that, to me, is potentially one of the biggest pieces that is going to be talked about in this entire conference call. I try to stay positive because I do believe in this company for so many reasons. I really do believe, even beyond what the expectations are. I'm just super pumped about it. But I think sometimes you got to be a realist, and I think that is a real situation that needs to be addressed in this conference call. So the next piece that they want to talk about is M&A updates, also known as merger and acquisitions. There's been a ton of rumors, ton of things flying around that really have been talking about merger and really have been talking about acquisitions. I know one of the biggest pieces that he talked about was actually, and I'm going to provide my notes because I really wrote this stuff down, that way I could provide it to you in the video. I said, I'm glad that this is being addressed as well, because if this is something that could simplify a process, because I think there's some things out there that could probably simplify the process for HUMBL. And what I mean by that is if it really kind of puts less stress on them to be constantly working, putting in that time. It's not that that's a bad thing, but at some point you need to really kind of provide that to someone who is a subject matter expert. Not that they're not, but this is something that someone else could potentially focus on 100% while they're trying to perfect another craft. So I think if this can simplify a process, that's something that should be looked into. Hopefully they address that. The next thing is, I said then it should be looked into, but I also would like to hear some flashy news, because this could be a huge addition to the HUMBL company. So it would also be nice to hear maybe a big time acquisition that they're working on, or maybe a big time merger that they could potentially be having as well. So that would be something nice to hear. And I said, I know in the last conference call this was discussed regarding the delivery under the modular platform customized by region slide. And your guys are going to see what exactly I'm talking about right here.
Still a little bit on the fence about delivery. I don't fully understand the unit economics of that. I think in some countries it works where, you're in condensed environments, lots of motorbikes, and so on. So that's probably an acquisition for us if we do it.
So the next topic on the bar down is going to be product roadmap. And so the first thing that they headline on that is mobile app peer-to-peer or P2P. I said, I think this is another major detail of the app being released. This is another just, check on the list when it comes to the app release. And I said, I would like to hear some updates on the phase 1 app release. I think that would really provide some, positivity, because obviously we understand that some big countries were in that first phase. And I do think it would be reassuring to hear that they have had some decent success from a download perspective, but also, they did have some kinks. A lot of people were able to provide feedback, and how did they respond from that feedback? It'd be nice to hear some of that information, coming from Brian Foote himself. So that is something that I definitely put there as something I would like to hear, especially around the fixes and things like that. The next piece that they talked about is marketplace, which includes NFTs and ticketing. I said, I think this is something that could really be significant because so many major athletes, musicians, artists, etc. could capitalize on the NFT segment. And then from a ticketing aspect, I do think as the economies are starting to reopen, we're seeing a lot more capacities being, expanded when it comes to professional sports. More people are able to go to games. I do think you're going to start to see the ticketing aspect become extremely relevant, and not only in sports, but I think you're going to see it from a music standpoint, going to concerts. You're going to see it from going to festivals and things like that. So I do think that the ticketing aspect is really going to be touched on, and I think that's significant as well. So then the next piece that they talk about in this segment is going to be financials. And I said something that needs to be addressed from the CNBC interview, and something I also touched on in my more recent video. I definitely did talk about that. So talk about new company, ETXs are live and producing. I think 50 million in equity was talked about, the day after the CNBC interview. So maybe here's something regarding that. I do think that the CNBC interview was, I talked about it in my last video. I do think it was very good for an OTC company to be able to have exposure on CNBC. Did he handle some of the questions, just not the best? Yes. But it's the fact that he went on to CNBC, and it's the fact that it's a new and up-and-coming company that was even given the privilege to do what he did. So props to Brian Foote for even getting that opportunity and how he handled the situation. Again, that's what I take from it, because I do think it is a very positive situation, and I think that he can address the next part in this conference call. So that is something that I really think is extremely significant for that segment. Now, the final piece that they're going to be talking about is people hires. But the fact that they are starting to get things accomplished, they don't need to just keep it so small, tight niched. They need to start hiring and really getting some of these pieces, tasked out to other people who can solely focus on that and continue to build this company. So I think from an overall perspective, this is very, very important, because as a company continues to grow and are now in the walk phase, they should be adding positions of support so everyone isn't working tirelessly. And you guys will be able to see exactly what I'm talking about right here.
But we are working around the clock, mostly because we want to get to market and serve the customer. So I would say that, I'm very proud of our team. You would be amazed, we have all these little cells around the country and around the world of people who are just working on stuff for the project. I'm just always honored by how hard they're working, whether I'm there or not. So this will get done. It's going to be an amazing product. We're already moving to production on a number of elements. In fact, the entire left-hand side, other than NFTs, will be a part of our build as we come out with HUMBL Pay in its early iterations. You're going to have merchants, point and pay, ratings and reviews, some search and mapping functionalities, and then amazingly, they got the ticketing business plugged in there too.
Now, this next note, I think they have done pretty well, especially for being OTC, because we've seen billboards in some amazing places. We've seen it in New York. We've seen it at LAX. We've seen it, abroad. We've seen the billboards and things like that. I think they need to take it up a notch with a PR and really a marketing standpoint. I think it just needs to be taken up a tier. I mean, like I said, they've been in some amazing places, but the thing to think about is when a normal person sees a billboard that just says HUMBL, do they know what HUMBL actually is? That's where we need to kind of expand that marketing, really push and hit that PR. So I said marketing and PR should be a position focused on, in my opinion, for the sake of getting awareness around the multitude of options this company provides, from an individual to a small business to an investor, etc. So get people aware of everything that HUMBL has. I mean, you have HUMBL Pay, you have HUMBL Marketplace, you have HUMBL NFTs, you have HUMBL ETXs, which is through the HUMBL Financial. I mean, guys, HUMBL is very relevant and they do a ton of things. So start making people aware of that. If you really do want to compete against the likes of Etsy, Amazon, you say you're going to be the next Amazon of the financial stuff, then you're talking about PayPal, Venmo, the list goes on and on and on. Then you need to really start pushing your marketing, really let people know what you're about, and take that next step. And so I'm hoping to hear some of that information in this conference call. So a lot of that is really kind of summing up what this conference call is going to be about, and really what I'm hoping to hear from my personal standpoint. Hopefully you guys can agree on some of that stuff. I understand that you're going to probably disagree on some of that stuff. Guys, I've had some amazing conversations in the comment section below. That's why in the intro of my video, I always say comment down below. And the reason is because there truly has been some amazing conversations had in the comment section on HUMBL videos, because there are some passionate people out there regarding this stock, regarding this business, and really regarding the CEO, because they are passionate, like I said. So please comment down below so I can have that engagement, and many others can do the same thing. And one of the final things that I really want to hit on before we break down this chart is the fact that I did say in my last video, and a lot of people are agreeing, this isn't a flash in the pan. This isn't something that is going to happen overnight. They're building up this product, they're building up this business, and they're doing it in a manner at which they feel is the right way, ladies and gentlemen. That is a big accomplishment, is to know that you're putting in the time, putting in the effort, really honing in your craft, but you're doing it in a right way. And I really think Brian Foote hits on that in this next piece that I'm going to show you. I'm just extremely excited that, he said what he had to say. And I'm just going to let him do the talking.
Tend to build an environment for them. It'll take time. We aren't going to do this overnight. So if you want this to be built overnight, then don't invest in HUMBL, because that's not going to happen.
And now we've come to my favorite part of any video, and that is chart breaking down time. So let's swing on over here. Check out HMBL HUMBL Inc. So today it opened at $1.37. It got as high as $1.38 and its low was $1.27. Not really a lot of influx right there. Volume was 10.45 million, so still a decent amount of volume. Market cap is 1.255 billion. 52-week high is $7.72. 52-week low is 0, and its average volume is 17.72 million. So it did close today at $1.32. That was again down 5.71% to finish out the day. I did change this to a 1-week chart because what I really want to show you guys is just the steady downtrend. It's been consistent every single day since the 22nd, and it was even kind of like that before that. Honestly, it's really, there's just not an influx in the day. You're seeing a pretty flat, consistent chart for most of the days, and really your big drop-offs just occur right out the gate in the morning. So honestly, there's just a lot of things that are going against this stock, whether it is being shorted or whether it is people selling off because they're just unsure of the current situation. Then you have long-term investors who really believe in the direction. They believe in what the company is trying to accomplish. They're seeing it happen before their eyes. And like I said before, app is being released. ETXs are out there. NFTs are on the way. I mean, if you really go through the timeline at which is provided in every conference call, they are checking those things off the box and they're doing the best they possibly can. Remember, this is an OTC. This is a very new, very fresh, starting out company, and they really have accomplished a lot. So as a long-term investor, I'm excited to see some of these things being accomplished already. And it's just really a good time to, if you are interested in HUMBL, to really take a look and see if this is something you're interested in. I appreciate you swinging by and checking out this video on HUMBL. And like I usually say at the end of these videos, this will not be the last video on this company, by no means. I do want to remind you guys, I'm not a financial advisor, and anything I say in this video is for pure entertainment purposes only. And that's exactly what I'm here to do, is entertain. And you guys know how I do it. If you like this video, smash that like button. It helps out tremendously. And if you enjoy the content, because I'm going to keep the content flowing, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And as always, have a good day.